This week we take you to the peaceful village of Signal Hill to explore Angel's Villa. It's close to the capital of Scarborough, the Signal Hill Secondary School and the Red Cross Association. We have a packed show for you this week. I'm Davia Chambers and Let's Talk Tobago starts now. Tobago hosts Caribbean Beekeeping Congress, launch of Tobago Heritage Trails, and later International Literacy Day 2016. These stories and more when Let's Talk Tobago continues.
I was introduced to the marine environment by my biology teacher when I was 14 years old, and I decided to make it my passion. So I've been diving for almost 32 years. I decided, listen, this is the job for me. I also find great joy in introducing the kids to that environment because that's our future. I am Alvin Douglas. I'm a dive shop operator at the Store Bay Beach facility, and tourism is all a weeping.
Angel's Villa is owned by Carl and Angela Williams. After living abroad for 24 years, Angela wanted to return home and she decided to try her luck with property rentals. Boasting the theme Connecting the Caribbean Through Beekeeping, our lead story has details on a conference geared towards maintaining vibrant and productive colonies. Have a look at this story.
Beekeepers from Mauritius, Australia, and around the Caribbean, including Tobago, just to name a few, have descended on Tobago for the 8th Annual Caribbean Beekeeping Congress, where they are discussing topics to help maintain vibrant and productive colonies.
Beekeeping is serious business, and Caribbean beekeepers are serious about the business of beekeeping. As such, this Congress is designed to address several pressing issues, regional and national in scope. And we're going to do this through presentations and structured discussions.
The conference, which runs for 1 week, is themed Connecting the Caribbean Through Beekeeping. These little creatures are the crown jewels of pollinators. Without them, flowers won't be able to bear fruit. And of course, they are a healthy alternative to refined sugars and can be a valuable contributor to a healthy economy. That's why the Tobago House of Assembly threw its full support behind the event.
The division has placed great value on beekeeping in Tobago, where we have 28 active beekeepers and 41 apiary sites. We have extended considerable support to the beekeeping community through our incentive program, extension services, demonstration apiary, and site inspection.
It is hoped that the conference benefits all beekeepers in the Caribbean tremendously. According to Chief Secretary Orville London, honey can be one of the sweeteners of Tobago's economy.
We talk regionalism when we're together, but when we go back to our individual spaces, we tend to focus on those things, even we politicians, or maybe we politicians, that cause us to survive. And sometimes the things that cause us to survive are not necessarily the things that foster regionalism. And I'm urging all of us, politicians, non-politicians, decision makers, and the practitioners, to let this whole idea of regionalism and regional cooperation, which hopefully would be engendered during the next 4 days, that allow that to influence our activities and our actions after.
Participants will also partake in a queen-wearing course and an Africanized bee tour of Trinidad. I'm Caroline Wallace for Let's Talk Tobago.
This property was constructed in 2006 and comprises 1 apartment and 1 villa which can be rented separately. Now guests usually create their own activities, and if further assistance is needed, the owners live just next door. Now we literally change gear as the Sherburne Road junction is transformed. It has been a scary place for vehicular and foot traffic. Check out the much needed change in this story.
The traffic light at Chauvin Road has been commissioned. This means the intersection is no longer difficult to manipulate by neither pedestrian nor driver.
The reason for this installation of the traffic lights is to bring a measure of safety at this intersection, because we know that there have been a number of accidents, near misses, and even fatal ones.
It's a three-way traffic light with pedestrians in mind from nearby offices on Chauvin Road.
This intersection will also encompass pedestrian safety. There are two locations where pedestrians will be crossing to make sure that they cross from one point to the next as safe as possible. It will also increase mobility now, because there won't be too much delays at the intersections.
This project is one of many outlined by the Division of Infrastructure and Public Utilities to make road use safer.
We at the division recognize the urgent need for this solution, and we are very pleased this morning that we can be able to deliver to the people of Tobago, to the road users of Tobago, the drivers of Tobago, and the pedestrians, this new traffic signal. Of course, we want to urge all road users to obey the signals. The
installation of the traffic lights cost just over $1 million. I'm Caroline Wallace for Let's Talk Tobago.
The name of the property, Angel's Villa, was inspired by Angela and Carl Williams' first daughter. Having a property named after you is good, but having your own home is even better. The Division of Settlements and Labor had a public draw recently. Omodara Mills is here to bring us the exciting news.
From thousands of public housing applicants, this name was drawn via the computerized lottery system for the first alternative housing model unit built in Tobago. Arlene Edwards is a facility coordinator at Speyside. She feels elated that she's now closer than many to owning a home.
I've been renting, and I've just been praying that, one of these days I will have something of my own. And I actually had plans of trying to explore the option of next year of trying to buy some land and build somewhere, because, I really wanted my own. But now God answers prayers, and, the division has really assisted someone that I don't think they know how grateful I am.
The Division of Settlements and Labor built this 3-bedroom, 1-bathroom family home at a cost of $485,000. That's about $200,000 less than the houses traditionally built by the division.
The Department of Settlement face a task of providing quality houses for lower and middle income brackets. But in these times of economic hardship, our division had found an innovative way of meeting this mandate. This alternative housing model unit was developed and executed to create this vision. The feedback was extremely positive.
The house is located in Bonaccord and took 3 months to construct. The success of this model means a greater number of homes can be built as the division works to fulfill its mandate of providing safe and affordable housing for Tobagonians.
I think it's fantastic, and I think that research would probably show that there are a lot more persons like myself that really need the assistance, So I think it's a great initiative. I think that it should, continue, and I'm sure it will continue. And a lot of persons definitely will benefit from this.
The computerized draw was witnessed by THA and Housing Development Company HDC officials, along with 20 housing applicants. Before she gets a formal offer letter, Ms. Edwards will be evaluated to ensure she meets the requirements for public housing. I'm Omodara Mills for Let's Talk Tobago.
Up next, a launch of Tobago Heritage Trails. Stay with us. Let's Talk Tobago will be right back. Welcome back. We're exploring Angel's Villa, and what keeps guests coming back is the peaceful atmosphere, serenity, view of the sea, and the gentleness of the cool breeze. Speaking of exploring, our next story is geared towards encouraging locals to preserve Tobago's history and tell the story of the island. Juliet James fills us in.
If you've ever wanted to know more about Tobago's history, the Tobago Heritage Trails are the perfect starting points. Whether you call Tobago home or you're one of the many who visit these shores every year, you can hop on one or both guided tours that take you around the Scarborough and various churches on the island. The trails will enhance Tobago's tourism product and encourage locals to tell the story of the island.
The purpose of the heritage training was in fact twofold: to introduce the experienced tour guides on the island and tour reps to a new concept, which is looking at Tobago trails, exploring the history and heritage of Tobago from a slightly different perspective.
The relics and sites on the trails will also inspire visitors to learn more about Tobago's past once the tour is over.
Most important to me is to increase popular knowledge about the history, about the value of the relics, to sensitize people about the importance of preservation. I don't think that in a large number of cases, people recognize the importance of our historical relics. We have lost a lot of them simply because people unknowingly destroy them.
During their training, the tour guides learned about the trails, historical facts, and leading the tours. They were also taught about the importance of preserving our communities.
I learned so much about the new trails that we have to offer to the world.
By coming to this course here, I got to understand a lot of history about churches, which I never knew, and where they strand from the Catholic to the Anglican. So it was very informative.
The Scarborough Trail is a comprehensive tour that covers the important and interesting sites, including the recently refurbished electricity plant and post boxes. The church trail includes the churches and cemeteries that are an integral part of Tobago's history. From the Division of Tourism and Transportation, I'm Juliet James reporting for Let's Talk Tobago.
Angel's Villa can accommodate a maximum of 24 persons, as it has 7 bedrooms, 6 bathrooms, and 2 large kitchens. And speaking of large groups, people gathered at the Scarborough Library facility to learn about the island's underwater archaeological heritage. Here's more.
Underwater cultural heritage is any trace of man's existence that has a historical, cultural, or archaeological character partially or periodically underwater for at least 100 years. In the case of Tobago, it helps us understand how we have progressed as an island.
We were discovered by Christopher Columbus on his third voyage in 1498. And if we took a 100-year span, 100 years back from 2016 is going to be 1916. So anything underwater, shipwreck-wise, between 1498 and 1916 is definitely going to be underwater cultural heritage by the definition.
The Protection of Rights Act 1994 explains how one becomes an owner of the underwater culture heritage. Tobago has quite a few shipwrecks, some of which are in the Scarborough Harbour.
We have the Chesterfield, 1748, a British merchant ship. These are potentially our oldest wrecks on the island. They sank in 1572. There was a Spanish fleet going from Spain to Veracruz in Mexico, carrying mining equipment.
Mr. Chung says Tobago's underwater culture heritage is valuable because it is part of who we are. Building local capacity and preservation are just some of the ways we can protect it.
We really want to preserve what it is that we have. And as a part of preserving it, we need to find out what exactly we continue building a shipwreck registry. Where do we think that we have underwater cultural heritage? We want to examine those sites to see if in fact it is there, what sort of state it is. We need to assess that. So we need to build local capacity so that we are self-sufficient. Continuing with public archaeology, which again is going to increase the value of our heritage.
Mr. Chung has located several shipwrecks, including 7 from the 20th century, 3 from the 19th century, and 3 from the 17th century. He has also been a dive shop owner and operator for over 25 years. I'm Caroline Wallace for Let's Talk Tobago.
Interested in hosting small events but having difficulty finding a place? Well, Angel's Villa has you covered. It can facilitate baby showers, church gatherings, and retreats. You can also have a small wedding right here on the patio. Listen to this. The Tobago leg of the Trinidad and Tobago Film Festival is one medium used to expose local youth talent. This report highlights the achievements of one particular individual for his nomination in the film festival. Here's one.
Who's the man you're holding me with?
So this is what we read these to.
Deceit, suspense, and murder. That's just some of the elements in The Witness, a 3-part, 44-minute thriller that's on the lineup of documentaries and narratives being shown at the 2016 Trinidad and Tobago Film Festival. This narrative, which won awards at the LA Short Film Festival in 2015, was produced by Triple Spades Studios, a Tobago film production company. The company was also able to get Red Man, a 15-minute comedy, into this year's film festival lineup, which has been nominated for Best Narrative Short.
We got our notification that Red Man was in the festival. We said, okay, great. So we began to prepare for Red Man. And then a month later, we got notification, we still need information on The Witness. And I'm like, what? And they said, yes, The Witness is also in the festival. So we are extremely excited. I think we are probably the first company to have 2 films back-to-back in the festival at the same time. So it's an amazing achievement for Tobago, really.
The Trinidad and Tobago Film Festival, TTFF, is now in its 11th year. This year, the event has over 100 films on its lineup from and about the Caribbean and its diaspora, as well as some from the international arena. Over 60 films are from Trinidad and Tobago, with 4 of them being feature-length narratives. They are Play the Devil, The Cutlass, Sanskara, and Tomb. Jared says many local filmmakers are grateful for the opportunity to showcase their work.
I think it's a wonderful initiative. I mean, who as a filmmaker wouldn't be excited to have your movie shown on the big screen? I think that's what we all dream of. So I am just saying hats off to the Trinidad and Tobago Film Festival, the TTFC, TNT Film, Creative TT. That whole network, they're really doing their best to create avenues for filmmakers. Finally, we can see that this is really a viable opportunity for us.
The TTFF also facilitates workshops and various networking opportunities, such as the Caribbean Film Mart, a program that will allow Jared to present his film project, Folklore.
It's an amazing opportunity because for 2 days, we're going to be chatting one-on-one and as groups with international filmmakers. They will teach us about distribution, about how to take it to the next step now. We've already pitched. How do we move on? Who can we target as producers and so on for our own films? How can we get funding? So it's actually a wealth of information we are hoping to receive.
A red carpet premiere of The Witness and Red Man will take place at Movietown Lowlands on Thursday, 22nd September from 7 p.m. The Trinidad and Tobago Film Festival runs from September 20th to the 27th. I'm Amadara Mills for Let's Talk Tobago.
Coming up, International Literacy Day 2016. Let's Talk Tobago will be right back. Stay with us.
Hey, I'm a maxi taxi operator and tourism is all our thing.
I am in housekeeping and tourism is all our thing.
I'm a tour guide. Tourism is all our thing.
And we all
benefit
from tourism.
Times. Summer car done, summer car, summer car done, summer car, summer car done, summer car, summer car done, summer
This property reflects a modern Caribbean style as it's surrounded by lush flower gardens and has a view of the Caribbean Sea. Now, reading is one way you can travel without having to leave the comfort of your home. The Scarborough Library facility celebrated International Literacy Day for the first time in Tobago.
Read in the past, write in the future. That's the theme for this year's International Literacy Day 2016 as they celebrated their 50th year anniversary. The Scarborough Library facility marked the occasion with a day of reading for both children and adults. In the morning session, Chief Justice Ivor Archie paid a visit to the library to read with and remind the young children that
the words are our tools for getting outside what is inside here. And the more you read, the better you're able to express yourself. Reading can take you wherever you want to go. You can access stuff through reading.
Mr. Archie says as Chief Justice he doesn't only read law books as he believes reading different types of books helps expand your mind and the way you learn and understand.
I read books all the time and I read everything because I find that one of the things that has really helped me to be successful is reading in every subject area, because the more you read, the more you find that everything is connected in a way that is not obvious. Just because a lawyer, it doesn't mean you shouldn't read about science. No knowledge is ever wasted. I would encourage you to read everything that you could get your hands on.
The children who attended the event said they enjoyed all the activities.
I enjoyed when the Chief Justice came and was reading for us. To never give up and to believe in yourself. It was good. It was exciting. It was good. Basically, I read in school a lot. I read sometimes at home. And I come to the library sometimes and take books and read it.
This was the first time the Tobago Library Services hosted these activities and it hopes to make it an annual event. I'm Marlon Gotsleben for Let's Talk Tobago.
One question people ask of this rental is, does the property have a pool? Well, the answer to that is yes. Your vacation awaits and is one click or call away. While you make your reservations, take in this story. One special non-profit organization visited the office of the Chief Secretary during their visit to Tobago to meet and chat with the man himself. Marlon Gotsleben has the highlights of this meeting.
Persons Associated with Visual Impairment, PAVI, is a non-profit organization funded by Raphael Mall on October 26, 1995. This organization seeks to provide services to help visually impaired persons gain independence through the Adjustment of Blindness program. PAVI also works with visually impaired children through their early intervention program to provide support for their development. The group visited the office of the Chief Secretary as part of its awareness campaign.
We decided to embark on a program of rehabilitation, going out into the communities, having our social workers, or now we call them adjustment to blindness officers, go to the homes and the villages of where blind and visually impaired people live, and train them so that they can continue to function as blind and visually impaired persons, having, in most cases, having lost sight as adults. We also work with children in some respects.
The group also wants to set up a Tobago branch that will allow PAVI to better serve the island's visually impaired.
What we're looking at is the visually impaired people around here. We wanted to find out if there's any group in Tobago. So we were looking at a formation of having a group across here that we could pay some attention to the visually impaired ones. I think that is one of the purposes of coming here.
The idea is an appealing one for Chief Secretary Orville London.
We give ourselves a challenge as Tobagonians to make sure that happens. I suppose people in this group would be able to advise as to how it is done. In other words, does the initiative come from an NGO? Does the initiative come from the division or a unit of the ministry?
PAVI hosted its annual Calypso Monarch competition on August 14th of this year. The group is planning its Family Day events for Republic Day at the La Vega Estate, Grand Couva. I'm Marlon Gotsleben for Let's Talk Tobago.
It's the start of the international tourist season in Tobago. So what can we do to better serve the tourism industry? While you think about it, let's take a look at who had their say this week.
We need a little more culture. We need a little more roots. Things that people search for when they come from big cities.
Implement more local cuisine and more local art in the country.
To fill the hotel catchment of workers, you need to have them trained first in the hotel schools and then deploy them in any hotels in Trinidad and Tobago. That is one. Two, improve on the agricultural products in Tobago, whereby the agricultural system in Tobago feed all the hotels.
Try and bring positivity to the tourism sector and downplay the negativity of crime and violence.
We put some infrastructure in place that where they can come off and get some local cuisine. You know that that the local stuff that we have, instead of going out of the town.
Beautify the environment some more, have transport more readily available, and also people being more friendly towards the tourists and these things, having more like fruits and these things, because out where they are coming from, some of them do have mango and cane juice and all these things is going to boost tourism.
We close another edition of Let's Talk Tobago, and as always, we thank you for watching. Please email us your comments or queries about the program. Be sure to visit our website, like us on Facebook, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. From our house to yours, I'm Davia Chambers, along with the Department of Information, Office of the Chief Secretary, Tobago House of Assembly, wishing you a safe and very productive week. We close now with a montage of the National Philharmonic Orchestra concerts.
Sweet marine ocean, always with a rhythm